Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another unboxing and review. So today we're back here finally with another ERTL unboxing from Thomas and Friends, and it is going to be a limited edition James and the Old Coaches. Now I picked this up on eBay, I picked it up for £10, so for this, consider it's a limited edition as well, I actually think that's quite a really good bargain. Now I apologise for the lack of ERTL content. I did say a little while ago, obviously for every 100 subscribers we hit on the channel, I would unbox one of these. Now long story short, I didn't have any more ERTL Thomas and Friends to unbox and review. So all the ones I have are in pristine condition, and as obviously the rule is, only if it's got bad packaging that I'll unbox it and can justify unboxing it. I can unjustify any of the ones that I already have. So I got this, like I say, for a bargain on eBay. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox. So join me as we take a look at James and the Old Coaches. So there's James and the Old Coaches down here for a closer look. So yeah, like I say, this was done by ERTL, as you can see there in the corner. Thomas&friends and Friends, the old classic logo. And we have got die-cast engine limited edition here. And it does state it has 3 rolling wheels. So like I say, I picked this up for £10 on eBay, and like I say, I think that's actually quite a bargain, considering, like I say, this is a limited edition. You're getting 2 pieces of rolling stock and you're getting the locomotive as well. I think that's quite a good deal. But yeah, like I say, in terms of getting these unboxed, normally it breaks my heart to unbox, especially products like as old as this. You've got to bear in mind this was released in the early 90s and it's a limited edition, but then these are quite hard to find in good condition now. But like I say, my rule for unboxing these is obviously if the packaging isn't in good condition, which you can see it's not. There's a massive crease here in the card. Obviously this is all dented, there's creases up here, there's creases in the corners, we're missing a chunk here, and it's actually even starting to peel off a little bit. So I thought this was the perfect candidate, and like I say, I got it for a bargain for £10. But obviously if we just turn the locomotive over, obviously look out for these exciting Thomas the Tank Engine toys, plus all the other ERTL quality toys and models available at every good toy store. God, honestly, those were the days back in the 90s when I used to walk into a toy store. My local one would have been Gamley's in Maidstone, like the capital town of Kent. And you walk into Gamley's, the whole wall, and I would just look in awe at all these ERTL die-cast Thomases all on the wall. A bit like if you were to walk into a store in Toys R Us and you saw Star Wars figures, even though that's the thing of the past now. But yeah, and like I say, the backing isn't really too good either. It's quite faded. But obviously it gives you a list of all the old locomotives you used to get. So this was just the range back at the time. And of course, going back like a few years, you know, the range just completely exploded to the point they were just doing background characters. Even like the 3 horrid lorries. I mean, they were just doing lorry 1, 2 and 3 and just repackaging them. Just slightly different variations. So the range really exploded. But just back then, it was a very, very simple cast. But yeah, obviously if we just take a look at the corner, the Britt Allcroft Thomas Limited Company, 1992. So it was distributed by the ERTL company, incorporated in the highways in Iowa. But obviously it was distributed in the UK in Exeter. So obviously that's where our ERTL models came from, in the UK in Exeter. But obviously they did come from Iowa in the USA, where they would have been originally produced. But yeah, I think this is really, really, really nice little set. Like I said, the Old Coaches. The only thing I would say is they are pretty much identical. I don't think there's any variation between the 2 coaches at all. But before we get to unboxing all this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for a brief history of James. So James is a red mixed traffic tender engine who lives and works on the island of Sodor. He is Northwestern Railway's number 5 engine. He primarily works on the main line but pulls both passenger and goods trains, hence why he is known as a mixed traffic engine. James is based on a Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Class 28, a class of 060 mixed traffic tender locomotives designed by George Hughes for the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway and built by Horwich Works between 1909 and 1912. James can remain highly opinionated on someone's character, though he often feels remorse and guilt for his actions, often leading to him feeling apologetic and sometimes coming out meekly. Despite all this, James has shown caring side of him. He has a heart of gold and wants to help anyone in time of need. He is normally hard working like everyone else and wants to be really responsible, reliable and really useful on the Fat Controller's railway. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to get this unboxed now. So in terms of the show, I mean, everyone knows my favourite characters are Donald and Douglas. They were only ever second to James. So James was always my favourite character as a kid. And he still is, to be fair. Like I say, Donald Douglas are only second to him. Caledonian twins. But yeah, there we go. There it is unboxed. Bear in mind, this hasn't been unboxed since 1992. So it's fresh out the packaging. And there we go. We're going to take a first look at James. Now, you've got to bear in mind, the detail's always going to be very, very simplistic here. But it's a really, really nice shiny red, isn't it? Really, really nice. Obviously, you've got the lining there, obviously around the tender and the cab and everything, the black lining. You've got the nice number 5, which is quite prominent. And yeah, you've got obviously the windows are blacked for the cab. The coal, realistically, doesn't look too bad. It's got a really, really nice shine to it, almost realistic. There's no cab detail inside. Obviously, you could just see the inside of the locomotive there. But overall, it doesn't look too bad. Obviously, you've got the gold dome there, which is quite nicely painted. And the facial representation, I actually think is done really, really nice. That's one thing I always class the ERTL models for doing, is that they've always got really, really good paint apps and face recognition for the locomotives themselves, which I think they've really captured here for James. See, that just looks like James. And obviously free rolling wheels, nice and free rolling there. Yeah, overall not too bad. And then obviously you've just got the little ERTL print there, obviously the country it's made in on the bottom. But overall, that's a really, really nice one. There's not too much weight to it considering it's die cast, but then again, it's hollow die cast. It's always going to be quite light. But you know, I'm really, really pleased to finally have one of these unboxed. But obviously we're going for a closer look for James in a minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him down to one side now, and let's have a look at the two coaches. So here is the first coach here. Now, it's fairly simplistic in its design. Obviously, you've got a couple of passengers there, you know, a mother and a child there. You've got the number 2, the door handles, and everything is nicely painted on. It's meant to represent some sort of tinting in the windows there. Very basic on the ends. And then, of course, there's a few more human characters there portrayed in the windows. Wheels aren't as free rolling as the locomotive are. But again, as well, you know, simplistic. It's number 2 printed there, and the door handles again and everything. You've got some nice riveting there on top of the cab of the coach. But overall, it's very nice. There's no weight to this at all. I mean, bear in mind, these aren't die cast. These are plastic through and through, the rolling stock, which you would expect it to be. I can't imagine them doing die cast versions of these. I mean, wow, it'd be amazing if they did. But you know, overall, I'm pretty happy with this, to be fair. It's quite nice. The only thing that puts me off about this, and this set as a whole, is that, unfortunately, if we have a look at the second coach, they are identical. So we've exactly got the same human printed characters, tinted on the windows again. It's number 2 again. The coach is number 2. But this one actually has some windows on the end there, and they are nice and tinted again, which is quite a nice feature. But again, as well, the same human characters on this side. But the paintwork overall is quite nice. I say paintwork, it's just stickers, isn't it? Let's face it, it's not actually going to be paintwork. But I mean, in terms of the livery of the coach, it's very, very nice with the green and the white there. It's very northwestern. But overall, riveting on top of the cab again as well. Overall, it's fairly nice. Wheels aren't as free rolling again, but I think it's overall a really, really nice set. So essentially what you would do is you would have these, obviously, these little coupling pieces there. Then obviously you'd have this coupler here. Essentially all you're doing is just pushing them down. And obviously they are coupled together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put all this down and couple it all together, and obviously we go in for a few closer shots before I come out with my final view. So that's been my review of the Thomas and Friends ERTL James and the Old Coaches set. I really hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please consider giving us a like, comment down below, and consider maybe subscribing to the channel, because there will be plenty more to come in the future as we go along the line and obviously go into more characters. But yeah, I generally think this is a really nice set. I think they've done James justice.